Jim. Hi everybody, Monday the 17th. I've just taken Jim and Susie, because she has to come everywhere with us, to the vets. Ooh. And he's had his stitches out. He's doing brilliantly well. And I got to meet the vet that did the surgery. And she is so thrilled at how he's done. And so as a treat, I've brought them to the little park. It's literally half a street from the surgery, so it's a special treat when they've come. They know that they can come and play in the woods, and it's cool and green, and they're having a lovely time. Morning everybody, it is Wednesday the 19th of July. I'm stood in my front room and it's about 9:15 in the morning. Today got off to a bit of a panicky start. I'm going to sit down actually. Today's my working from home day, and it's Dave's day for opening the gym, and his alarm didn't go off, so we all rose vertically out of bed at 6:30 this morning in a flat panic. But we got him up and packed and out the door. In about 15 minutes, one of my favourite people is arriving, and that person is my cleaning lady, Jennie, who I love more than I can ever tell you. She comes once a week for 2 hours, and she's fabulous. Really nice lady. We get on well, so we always have a nice chat. And I am super grateful that I can afford to have a cleaning lady. It makes such a difference. It's only 2 hours, so it's not like I don't get to do any cleaning at all in the house. It's a constant daily battle, as I'm sure you know. But it does mean that once a week the bathrooms are definitely cleaned, the floors, the hard floors are definitely mopped. And yeah, between the two of us, we managed to keep this place in reasonable shape. I have put an old t-shirt on and my yesterday's disgusting gym kit, because today I have to go for a run. I haven't been for a run for about 2 weeks, and it's going to be horrible, but I've got to go. So when I got dressed, I put my running kit on. No excuses then. So I need to just tidy around a little bit before Jennie gets here, so that she can clean things as opposed to have to move piles of rubbish around. Then once she's in and happy and cleaning away, I'll dash out for my half an hour run, and then I will have a think about what the rest of the day is going to bring. There is Susan. She has had a very exhausting morning. She ran off with my socks. So when I did manage to get them back, they were slightly damp and a little bit warm from her mouth, which is not perfect, but they'll end up warm and damp anyway after my run. Okay, I need to crack on, and I will check back in when I've actually got something interesting to show you. It is Saturday, the 22nd of July at about 7:30 in the morning. I've been up I got up about 6:15. Scraped my kitchen together a little bit. I fed the dogs. I've just been having a text conversation with Jocelyn, my daughter, who's on her very first super early shift. Excuse me, random sneeze. I think I mentioned she started working at Greggs, which is a chain of bakeries here in the UK. And this morning she had to start work at 5:30 because she was on sandwich making duty, which was a bit of a shock for her, but she did it. She got herself all organised the night before, she set her alarm, and off she went to work, so that's good. I'm really only just settling down now to do a little bit of early morning crafting. It's the absolute best time of day, early in the morning, with the kids being on summer holidays and Jocelyn's college timetable and things like that. I very rarely get time to myself in the house, so I really treasure these early morning moments of peace and quiet. I often watch podcasts, but I think today I'm going to listen to my new audiobook. I've just started listening to Demon Copperhead. I'll put a picture up here. Demon Copperhead by Barbara Kingsolver. Quite a few people in my Ravelry thread that I live in have read it and recommended it, and so far I'm really enjoying it. I'm only about an hour in, but it's lots of fun. I have my constant companion. There is Susie Sue with her little octopus, and she's very tired. She spent all of last night cuddling my leg, so obviously she now needs to recover. Oh, I'm out of shot now. Is that better? Yes, there we go. Spinning update. I have finished all 3 singles of my Hilltop Cloud spin. I did my best when separating the fibre into 3 clumps for spinning, and I weighed them on the bobbins this morning and I wrote the details on my hand. So the white one is 100, this is including the weight of the bobbins, by the way. The white one is 124 grams, the blue one is 138, and the purple one is 130. So obviously there's less on the white one, but there's only, there's 12 grams difference between the lightest and the heaviest. And given that I'm doing a traditional 3-ply, my first ever 3-ply, it's no problem to just chain ply up any bobbin leftovers, and there shouldn't be a huge amount of difference. This is my Ashford Lazy Kate. Can you see? It's got the little Ashford logo there. It's got the tension spring and the fishing line that goes around it, and then there's the tension knob. And the electric eel wheel 6 bobbins are huge, but they do still comfortably fit on my 3-prong tensioned Lazy Kate, which is great. I know that he does do his own Lazy Kates, but this one works absolutely fine for me. Now I do need to be careful. If I spin too much, I can make my hands sore with my arthritis, so I've learned how to manage that. I forget about plying, and if I do loads of it in one go, I tend to set something off in my trap, my trapezius muscle, and I can feel it. It pulls under my shoulder blade and it can pull across the front of my shoulder and all the rest of it. So I think I'm going to listen to my audiobook, but also set a timer for half an hour, and after half an hour I have to stop. And at that point I'll probably carry on with a bit of knitting. I haven't yet finished clue 2 of the Stephen West mystery sock along, so maybe I'll check in a bit with that. Not sure what I'm going to do with it, so we'll have to wait and see. Okay, I'm going to get myself set up for some plying and have a little go. order for some of our Cartref yarn, which I'm about to parcel up, and I'm a little bit fascinated by it. So this lady has ordered a skein of DK in Ayer, a skein of DK in Naturiol, which is our undyed colourway, 3 DK minis of the Ayer, and 8 DK minis of Glor. But yeah, what's that going to be? Colour work? It's been a while since I've had any Cartref out to play with, and I forget how much I love it. I think I've had quite a few new subscribers actually, so if anyone doesn't know, my friend Jennie and I have our own Welsh wool company. We buy our fleece from the Brecon wool depot. We have it spun up in Ceredigion, and then we dye it ourselves in our kitchens. So it's the first time I post this yarn out is the first time it leaves Wales, and we have our own exclusive blend. Let me show you the label on the back, look. So you get 100 grams of DK, gets you 205 metres, and it's 67% Welsh Mule and 33% Bluefaced Leicester. And it's next to the Skin Soft for me. It's obviously not merino soft, but it's a lovely, sturdy, heritage feeling yarn. And because we have some black Bluefaced Leicester fleece in there, the undyed is this gorgeous sort of palish oatmeal-y colour that gives you really deep colours when you dye it up. So yeah, I'll be curious to see what this yarn order grows up to be. I finished plying up the skein of Hilltop Cloud this morning. I had to chain ply 2 small amounts of leftovers from 2 of the bobbins, and I'm really pleased with how it's come out. So it's had a soak and a spin and a snap, and now it's just drying outside. It's finally stopped raining, thank goodness, and I'm hoping that it will be dry in time for me to have a look at the final finished object for the end of today's vlog. Everybody, to my very great shame, it is now Sunday the 13th of August, which is much later than I planned to be wrapping up my 3rd week of the Tour de Fleece vlog. I think I mentioned in one of the previous clips earlier on in this episode that I had to be careful when I was plying my yarn because I can get a massive knot in my muscles, and that's exactly what happened. My plan was to spin for the 3 weeks of the Tour de France and then continue in a 4th week to spin along with the Tour de Femme, which is the Tour de France equivalent for women, but it's only 7 or 8 days. Unfortunately, I was taken out by injury, which is a real shame. And then I got really quite horribly sick with an unfortunate bug that was doing the rounds at work. One thing led to another, and now it's August. So my apologies for all of that, but I spent this morning editing the previous bits of footage just so I knew where I'd got to, and I thought I would come back and round it off. So this is the grand sum of my Tour de France, Tour de Fleece 2023 spins. If you cast your memory back to the very first week, I was finishing up the last 100 grams of my first ever sweater spin. So this is John Arbon Black Gold of the Sun. 101 grams, 416 meters of light fingering weight. So I've now got 500 grams of this beautiful yarn, and I need to find a pattern to make myself a sweater. I do think I want a fingering weight sweater just so I can make the yarn go the furthest, I've asked for suggestions before and a couple of you gave me some really good ones. If anybody else has got suggestions, please leave them in the comments down below, because I would really like a variety of things to pick from. Fingering weight. I don't want it all over patterned or cabled or anything. Don't mind a bit of texture, but I really want something to make the yarn shine. But I also don't want completely plain. I don't want, what's the tin can knits pattern that everyone makes? You know the one, it's just a crew neck jumper with a garter strip down the sleeves. What's it called? I can't remember, but that's too plain. So 416 meters. And in the last little video clip, you saw me drying my second 100 grams. This is Hilltop Cloud, 50% Romney, 25% silk and 25% hemp or linen. This was mostly a true 3-ply, and I had to chain ply the last few odd bobbin ends. 104 grams, 433 meters, about 16 wraps per inch. And I am very pleased with this. So this is a fractal 3-ply. It definitely feels plant-like. It's 50% wool and the other 50% is that silk and hemp or linen. And so it doesn't have very much stretch in it at all, but it's still nice and soft. A little bit of drape from the silk, and I really like it. I did notice that actually these two look quite nice together. But this is a little bit heavier in weight than this, and I don't particularly want to do colour work, but they are gorgeous. Look at those. So yeah, 800 metres total for the Tour de France, which is what I managed last year. Last year I only spun up 100 grams and it ended up being lace weight, which is why it took me the whole 3 weeks. So that's where we've got to with that. Stephen West contrast bar socks. Loads of people have finished their socks, so I don't suppose I'll be spoiling you. I decided to buy myself a kit from Stephen and Penelope. You've seen me knitting on these in previous bits of the blog, but I will just remind you. Whoop. These are my two colourways. So, Life in the Long Grass. The yellowish one is called Mythical and the green one is Emerald Eve. These are 100% high twist merino. And I was knitting these on 2.25mm socks. Don't like them. Don't like them. Tried. Do not want. So, the last time you saw me, I think I was just making a start on Clue 2, which is where this garter brick pattern gets in. I did like the heel flap. Took me a couple of goes to get it right because I wasn't reading it properly, but that's quite fun, like a dotty heel flap. Heel turn's a heel turn, no problem. Starting Clue 3, you stripe your yarns together down the foot, which is fine. I don't know if you'll be able to see it because I only got 2 twists in and then lost my temper. But along the line of the gusset decreases, he has you put a cable in your main colour. So is this going to work? You might just be able to see it there. Basically, I'm going to rip the whole thing out and I'm not going to finish knitting it. My first issue, as I mentioned, was the yarn. It's beautiful yarn. I love the colour. It's lovely to work with. But knitting socks out of 100% merino strikes me as foolish. It is a high twist, but no. It did say in the listings on the website that it was 100% merino, so it's entirely my own fault. But it, you know, for a sock that's this much work, I'm going to walk through it in months, which strikes me as a bit of a waste. I really enjoyed the little cabley bits at the top. I liked this slip stitch zigzaggy section. I like this honeycomb slip stitch section, blah, 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 but I don't think they go together. I don't think they look like a harmonious sock. And I've seen lots of finished ones and I still think that. And And when I got into clue 3, there weren't specific instructions. So it's a 4-row stripe here. All of it is 4-row repeats. And so when you're knitting the leg, he instructs you to twist the yarns around each other. So you carry up the yarn you're not currently working with, so it's ready to go when you switch to it. Didn't give you any specific instructions for clue 3 about carrying yarn. So I continued to twist them together. So now, of course, I'm getting a little twisty lump. It's going to be not right under my heel, it's on the step of my foot, but still not keen on that, so I can definitely feel it. As I mentioned, it's a slip stitch pattern. And then because of wanting these cables to be in your main colour and continuing a slip stitch pattern across your instep, for quite a few rows, you have to slip stitches right at the joint of the gusset so you can do the cable in the main colour. And then you might have to slip some more at the start of the instep depending on where you are in the pattern repeat. So you end up with, can you see these strands here? That just strikes me as a weak point. And it's baggy and ugh. Add in the fact that the stitch counts are weird because it's such a long pattern repeat. I think it's, well, I can't tell you it's a paper pattern, but it's quite a long stitch pattern repeat, which makes adjusting things difficult. So I think they're going to be too big. I think I would walk through the yarn in a month. I think having a carry your yarn across cable twist in a gusset is a bad idea. And I also think twisting your yarns there is a bad idea. And I stopped knitting because I said I was going to do this and I thought, well, I don't want to do this, but that doesn't mean I can knit anything else, so I just stopped knitting. So, love the yarn, it's not suitable for socks. The pattern is very well written indeed. Stephen West is just not for me, and now I know. Anyway, so this is all coming out. Take my stitch marker off it. I'm going to have to think of something else to do with this beautiful yarn. But yeah, I'm over it. I am over it. And of course, frogging, it's going to be a bleeding nightmare because of all the twisting in shenanigans. So I think I'm going to go and put a film on in a minute and think about my life choices, think about the sort of knitter that I actually am. Done. So after sulking about that for a little while, work was really busy. As I said, I hadn't been terribly well. My mojo hit a bit of rock bottom. The tour de fleece was over, my knitting wasn't working out. Ugh. So I had a rummage around in my ottoman and I found my dad's Christmas socks. I think last time I showed you I'd finished one. I have now completed the pair. My dad has such long feet that they are too long for my sock blockers. So if they look a bit baggy, that's what it is. And I tell you, the blissful relief to A, get back to knitting something, and then to that something being a sock that I don't have to think about, I can just knit, was wonderful. Finished the second one. The yarn is a mystery yarn. I suspect it's Drops Fable, and the contrast yarn was Opal Uni colour that I bought from Angela of Yarn and Yarns in this lovely brown colour, like a dark chocolate brown. 2x2 rib, top down, heel flap and gusset. I ended up doing a traditional wedge toe rather than my usual rounded toe. I don't know why, but there they are. That's all done. And since I finished these, I had another horrendous week at work and haven't done any more knitting. I have started a new spin, but I'll tell you about that in the next episode. So that's it. Again, my apologies for this third and final vlog being so desperately late. I hope you will all forgive me. Keep jumper suggestions coming for my green hand spun. Please give me a thumbs up and click subscribe if you enjoyed watching. It helps my channel reach other people. Yeah, I'm going to go and find a film to watch and think about my mistakes. All right, thank you ever so much for watching, guys. I will see you soon. Bye.